obviously there's a multitude of surface treatment options available and coatings available for medical device components. What, in your experience, typically drives how people choose the right finish or the right process for their particular device? What are those variables that you see typically come up from time to time?
Well, right off the bat, depending on what metal is being chosen for the project, there could be limitations. So I spoke quite a bit about anodizing of aluminum. You have to have an aluminum product. Even though aluminum is being made stronger and closer to steel, it still is not going to be as strong as steel. So if we can't use aluminum for the parts, we take that whole anodizing process out as an opportunity. With stainless steel, normally people aren't going to look at doing some sort of an organic coating over the top of it. You've also already have a very corrosion resistant hard coating, but you can use organic coatings over the stainless steel. And basically platings can be done on all the different base metals, whether it's stainless, aluminum, copper, brass. But then you also have to take a look at how is the product going to be used? What environment is it going to be in? You might run into a situation where it's going to be in a wear environment and our customer could be using steel, but we want to push them towards the aluminum if possible, because now we can do the anodizing, impart color into the part, and provide a very wear resistant, corrosion resistant coating. So right off the bat, the first limitation is what is the base material? And then when we get into having that decided, then we have to look at the limitations of these different processes. Again, with anodizing, even though there is a wide array of colors, consistent coloring from part to part, batch to batch can be done very well, but not at the same level as an organic painted type coating. So if that's a really important part of the process to our customer, that every part is exactly the same color, there could be a challenge with anodizing. But you know, anodizing has a lot of flexibility as far as helping with wear, corrosion resistance, and coloring. If we are doing the plating processes, the disadvantage is going to be making sure we have the good adhesion and that it is an FDA approved plating process. That's why we tend to steer more towards the electroless nickel. It has the right approvals and all the adhesion qualities can be put into place and include the wear resistance. And then when we get into the organic coatings, the softness of the coating makes it more prone to being damaged. And then if you do break through the coating, you have a good potential for creep corrosion and undermining and having the coating flaking off. And you still do need to look at how resistant the coloring is on organic coatings to all the different sterilization processes, just like you need to with the anodizing processes. And then finally, we have to make sure that depending on the use of the product, the coating can get the proper approval. Is this something that's going to have consistent contact with the person, or is it going to be implanted, or is it going to go through a cleaning process that could degrade the coating? All those things need to be validated from a safety standpoint, and we have to gain the approval from the Food and Drug Administration.
So Steve, let me see if I can recap that, because you just shared a lot of really important information in terms of what drives our recommendations for certain coatings or finishes. You have obviously a really important characteristics of what is the base material and what is the compatibility challenges you may have with certain types of coatings. Obviously, aluminum anodizing is for aluminum, and that drives a considerable amount of limitations in terms of other options that might be available. But the other piece of it too is how is it used? So in this example, we see an instrument tray with instruments. The requirements for an instrument are different, very different than the requirements for the instrument tray. One has patient contact, one is used multiple times over a series of life, needs to be re-sterilized, needs to remain sharp and rust-free or corrosion-free. And then the last one is it a single-use device? Is it multiple use? Does it need to be re-sterilized? All these variables really drive you and your team to make recommendations on certain specific functional aesthetic finishes that will be appropriate and the most effective for that particular medical device.
Yep. All in all, Corey, you know, a really deep discovery process is required to ensure that you don't start off on the wrong foot.
Absolutely, absolutely.